Have you ever wondered why some men vanish from a woman's memory, while others live rent-free in her head for years? It's not looks, it's not money, it's not charm. Here's the truth. When respect is gone, the man who acts within 48 hours keeps his value. The man who hesitates loses everything. Most guys miss that window. They meet her, give everything, bend time and attention, then wait. Waiting for a text, waiting for a change, waiting to be respected again. But waiting isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. She didn't leave one random night. She decided months ago, and you didn't have the guts to act. That's why men lose before the breakup even happens. They accept crumbs, mistake silence for stability, and think indecision keeps things safe. It kills their chances. The man women fear losing isn't the one who invests the most. It's the one who chooses himself the moment respect disappears. In this video, I'll show you why quick, decisive action is the only trait that separates the forgotten from the unforgettable, and the one muscle every man must build before it's too late. Have you ever realized that heartbreak doesn't come the night she leaves? It doesn't explode in a single argument. It seeps in slowly, like a leak in the ceiling you ignore until the whole roof caves in. Most men don't lose their women in one dramatic breakup. They lose them 6 months earlier, in silence, in little details they brushed off. The breakup is only the funeral. The death already happened. Think back. She used to lean into you on the couch. Now she leans away. She used to ask where you were, what you were doing. Now she scrolls on her phone while you talk. She used to laugh when you said something stupid. Now her face stays blank, like she's not even in the room. You felt it. Deep down, you knew. But instead of acting, you told yourself stories. She's stressed. It's just a phase. If I hang on long enough, things will go back to normal. You turned red flags into excuses, and in that hesitation, you lost everything. Here's the sick part. This pattern isn't random. Men are trained into hesitation. From the time you were a teenager, you were told, wait your turn, don't be too aggressive, give her space, maybe she'll notice you. You learn to shrink yourself. In high school, the same 5 guys dated all the girls while you told yourself you'd get your chance later. In college, rejection burned, so you buried your desire under the safe title of just a friend. By the time you became a man, hesitation was already coded into your blood. But hesitation doesn't protect you, it poisons you. You think silence keeps you safe, but it makes you invisible. You think patience shows loyalty, but it actually shows fear. Every time you swallow your voice, you train her to ignore it. Every time you accept crumbs, you teach her that's all you deserve. I once knew a guy, let's call him Mike. He stayed in a relationship for 10 years. 10. His girlfriend stopped sleeping with him after year 2. By year 5, she was openly flirting with other men at parties. By year 8, she barely came home on weekends. Did he leave? No. He clung harder. He thought his endurance proved commitment. He thought one day she'd wake up and remember why she loved him. She didn't. She left him on year 10. And you know what hurt him most? Not that she left, but that he realized he had wasted a decade waiting for a miracle that never came. That's not loyalty. That's self-destruction. Here's another image for you. Imagine walking into your kitchen and finding spoiled food in the fridge. It stinks. It's rotten. You know it's bad for you. But you don't throw it out. You just close the door and pretend it's fine. A week later, the smell fills the whole house. A month later, it's crawling with maggots. That's what staying in a dead relationship is like. You know it's decaying, but you can't make the simple decision to get rid of it. And what's worse, deep down, you know the truth. She already made her decision. Women don't withdraw for no reason. They don't suddenly stop respecting you. The truth is brutal. By the time you sense her pulling away, she already mentally replaced you. The only reason she's still around is convenience. You're the placeholder until she upgrades. Yet you sit there, holding her handless hand, pretending it's still love. Let me ask you this. How many nights have you laid awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what you did wrong? How many mornings did you check your phone first thing, desperate for her text that never came? How many hours have you wasted arguing in your head about whether she still cares, instead of facing the obvious? And here's the twist. It's not rejection that breaks men. It's hesitation. Rejection is sharp, fast, painful, but clean. Hesitation is slow poison. It eats away at your dignity day by day until you wake up and barely recognize yourself. A man rejected still has his self-respect. A man who hesitates loses both the woman and himself. That's why so many men look in the mirror after a breakup and don't even recognize the person staring back. They gave everything, waited too long, tolerated too much. And by the time it was over, they weren't just single, they were hollow. This is the pain cycle. It repeats because you never learn the first lesson. The cost of not deciding is always higher than the cost of being wrong. Let that sink in. The cost of not deciding is always higher. Because when you hesitate, you don't just lose her, you lose time. And time is the one thing you never get back. So here's my question for you. How many more months will you waste pretending? How many more years will you trade away waiting for a woman who already left in her mind? Because the truth is brutal, but it's also simple. If you don't decide, life decides for you. And life never chooses in your favor. Life is full of crossroads, but most men don't even notice when they are standing at one. They keep walking the same tired path, hoping it will magically change. But it never does. Let me show you the difference between two men. The first one feels the shift in her tone, the coldness in her eyes, the distance in her touch. He notices she laughs harder at other men's jokes than at his, that she seems distracted whenever they're together. Deep down, he knows she's slipping away, but instead of acting, he waits. He texts more, buys gifts, tries harder, thinking if he just proves his loyalty, she will come back. 6 months pass, and she leaves anyway, shattering his confidence. He spends another 6 months healing, overthinking, replaying every moment in his head, wasting a year of his life on someone who stopped choosing him long ago. Now look at the second man. He feels the same signs, the distance, the withdrawal. But he doesn't deny reality. He doesn't beg. He doesn't argue. He makes a decision. He pulls back his energy, confronts once, and if nothing changes, he leaves. What happens? Sometimes she realizes what she is losing and adjusts. Other times, she doesn't, and he walks away clean. Either way, he wins because he refuses to live in limbo. In those same 6 months, while the first man was drowning in uncertainty, the decisive man had hundreds of conversations, dozens of dates, and countless opportunities to grow. By the time the hesitant man finally gets dumped, the decisive man can't even remember her name. At first, the difference seems small. A few weeks here, a few conversations there. But compounding is ruthless. 1 year later, the hesitant man is still licking his wounds, while the decisive man is already thriving. 5 years later, the hesitant man has repeated the same cycle multiple times, each breakup carving away at his self-worth. The decisive man has built a life of abundance, where women compete for his attention because he set the frame early. Respect me or lose me. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's not money. It's decisions. Think of it like a soldier in battle. One freezes, second guesses, and dies. The other acts instantly and survives. Same battlefield, Same risk, completely different outcome, all because one pulled the trigger when it mattered. Or imagine two investors watching a stock plummet. One holds on, paralyzed, praying it will rebound, watching his fortune disappear. The other cuts losses fast, reinvests, and thrives. Hesitation bleeds you dry. Decisiveness multiplies your gains. And here's the brutal truth. Losing her is not the tragedy. Losing her is survivable. Men get rejected every day and move on. The real tragedy is losing yourself while trying to keep someone who stopped choosing you. You abandon your standards. You silence your instincts. You ignore your worth. By the time she finally walks away, you're not just single, you're hollow. That's the true cost of hesitation. There is no neutral ground. You're either moving upward with decisive growth or downward with hesitant decay. While you're waiting for her to text back, another man is already taking her out. While you're debating whether to leave, another man is already building a life she would beg to be part of. The world doesn't reward waiting. It rewards action. And the twist is this: not losing her is not your victory, and losing her is not your failure. The only real failure is losing yourself. The only real victory is keeping your standards intact. That is the canyon between men who are forgotten and men who are unforgettable. Here's a truth most men never hear. Women don't actually want a man who waits around, hoping to be chosen. They don't crave endless patience, constant reassurance, or a man who bends over backward just to prove he cares. What they respect, what they are magnetically drawn to, is decisiveness. Not because every decision is perfect, but because decisiveness reveals strength. It says, I value my time, I value myself, I don't need permission to act. That is what captures their attention. That is what earns their respect. Picture a simple scenario. A man asks a woman out. She replies, maybe next week, I'm busy. Most guys keep texting, keep waiting, keep hoping she'll suddenly clear her schedule. But the decisive man doesn't play that game. He deletes her number, moves on, and never looks back. Why? Because if she's not excited to see him now, she never will be. And ironically, that very refusal often makes her chase him. Because by walking away, he demonstrates what almost no man dares to show: self-respect. It's not arrogance, it's standards. I once worked with a man who was a killer in business. He ran a 7-figure company and could fire an underperforming employee in seconds. He could cut a failing project before it bled him dry. But with women, he was paralyzed. His girlfriend would ghost him for days, then show up with flimsy excuses, and he would accept it every time. I asked him, would you tolerate this in your company? He laughed. Of course not. Then why did he tolerate it in his relationship? The answer was painful. He valued his business more than he valued himself. He was decisive in the office, indecisive in love. And the result was predictable. His company thrived while his relationship collapsed. This is the hidden disease of modern men. They can be kings in their careers, masters in their hobbies, leaders in their communities. But when it comes to love, they turn into beggars. They trade all their power for the bare minimum of attention. They accept silence as normal. They excuse disrespect as just how relationships work. They lower their standards until they're standing ankle-deep in the mud, wondering why no one takes them seriously. Here's the brutal reality. It's not confidence that earns respect. Confidence without action is just bravado. It's not charm either. Charm fades the moment she sees you tolerate disrespect. It's not money, because money can buy you time but not value. The currency that matters is decisiveness. The man who acts fast communicates power. The man who hesitates communicates weakness. And women can smell it instantly. Think of it like this. Every moment of hesitation is a crack in the wall of your value. The first time you let her cancel without consequence, you lose a brick. The first time you tolerate disrespect, another brick falls. Before you know it, the whole structure crumbles. Not because she destroyed you, but because you refuse to protect yourself. Society won't tell you this. Society tells you to give her another chance, to be more patient, to lower your expectations. Friends will say you're too picky. Women you reject will call you arrogant. They'll tell you commitment means swallowing your pride. But what they're really saying is, settle, be like us. Accept mediocrity so we feel better about our own choices. But you cannot build greatness on mediocrity. And you cannot be respected by tolerating disrespect. So here's the twist. Not confidence, but decisiveness earns loyalty. Not patience, but boundaries earn respect. Not waiting for clarity, but creating clarity through action earns attraction. Because every time you decide quickly, you reinforce your own value. Every time you hesitate, you erode it. And the paradox is simple. The less you need her, the more she needs you. The less you chase, the more she follows. The less you tolerate, the more she invests. That's the truth no one will tell you because it doesn't serve society, but it will serve you if you have the courage to act on it. Let's take this further. Imagine your life 5 years from now. 2 different futures, built by the same man, but separated by one single habit: decisiveness. In the first future, you stay the same. You keep waiting, hoping, tolerating. You're still the man who hesitates when respect disappears. 5 years have gone by, and you've had maybe 2 more relationships. Both ended the same way. Her pulling back, you waiting, her leaving. Each breakup cuts deeper than the last. You've lowered your standards just to avoid being alone. You tell yourself you're happy, but you know you're not. You wake up every morning next to someone you don't admire, someone who doesn't admire you either. You're tolerated, not desired. You scroll through social media and see men with women who adore them, women who compete for their attention, women who treat them like kings. You wonder, what do they have that I don't? And you blame everything but the truth. You blame money, genetics, luck, timing. But deep down, you know the answer. They made decisions you were too afraid to make. That's the first future. Now picture the second, the decisive future. You draw the line today. You refuse to tolerate disrespect. You refuse to stay where love has died. The first year is uncomfortable. You're alone more often. You face rejection more often. But rejection doesn't kill you. Rejection trains you. Every no strengthens your ability to find the right yes. By year 2, women start sensing something different about you. They notice the way you move, the way you speak, the way you never cling. You have an energy they can feel. Calm, powerful, unshakable. By year 3, you're overflowing with options. You're no longer desperate for attention because attention is everywhere. You're selective. You're choosing. By year 4, you meet someone extraordinary. She treats you like a king, not because she has to, but because she knows you'll walk if she doesn't. By year 5, you're living a life the old you could never even imagine. You look back and realize the entire transformation came from one choice: deciding fast instead of waiting forever. That's the loop. Decisions compound, just like hesitation compounds. Every quick decision you make builds a layer of strength. Every hesitation strips a layer away. One path compounds weakness until you're invisible. The other compounds power until you're unforgettable. And here's the paradox. Not making a decision is still making a decision. Every day you hesitate, you've already chosen. Every time you delay, you've already decided to lose. There's no neutral ground. There's no middle. You are either acting or decaying. You are either building or bleeding. You are either living or waiting to die. So ask yourself, 5 years from now, do you want to be the man who's forgotten or the man who's feared? Do you want to be the man who wasted his time waiting for love that never came, or the man who was so decisive, so sure of himself that love chased him? Do you want to wake up next to someone who tolerates you, or wake up next to someone who knows she could never replace you? This is the loop you can't escape. You are already in it. The only question is, which direction are you compounding? Will you let hesitation eat your years away? Or will you start today, right now, building the muscle that will define the rest of your life? Here's the paradox you must burn into your mind. Hesitation steals your years, but decisiveness gives you freedom. The man who acts within 48 hours never begs for love. He doesn't wait for respect. He sets the standard, and because of that, he never fears being left behind. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever ignored the signs and stayed too long? Share your story in the comments, because your experience might wake another man up. And if you're serious about changing today, I made something for you. A free checklist with the 7 signs of lost respect. The exact 48-hour script. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video, I'm breaking down the hidden behaviors that make women secretly test you, and how to pass every test without saying a word. Until then, remember this: the clock is always ticking. What will you decide in the next 48 hours?